I froze the moment I saw him. Standing in the middle of the cafe, staring right at me, was Daniel. 10 years gone, and here he was, like he had stepped out of my memories. My heart thudded so loud I thought he might hear it. I hadn't expected him. Not here, not today, not ever again. He looked older, of course, taller, maybe a little grayer at the temples. But those eyes hadn't changed. The same warm brown that had haunted my dreams for years. I wanted to turn away, hide behind my coffee cup, pretend I didn't see him. But my feet moved before my brain could stop them. Emma? His voice was soft, but it carried across the cafe, pulling all the air from my lungs. I swallowed. Daniel. He smiled. The kind that made the world shrink to just the two of us. It's been a long time. 10 years, I said, though it sounded like an accusation more than an observation. He nodded. Too long. I wanted to ask why he was here, why now, but I couldn't find the words. My chest tightened, memories rushing in like a storm. The summer nights, the laughter, the promises we'd whispered under the stars. And then, the heartbreak. I didn't expect to see you here, I admitted, my voice trembling. Neither did I, he said, taking a careful step closer. I needed to find you. My stomach flipped. Needed to find me. What could he possibly want after all this time? Before I could ask, his hand brushed against the table, knocking something small to the floor. I bent down to pick it up. It was a folded envelope, old but carefully kept. My name was written on it, his handwriting. You. You wrote this? I whispered, holding it up. I did, he said, his eyes locked on mine. But I didn't send it. I couldn't. Not then. My hands shook as I unfolded the letter. The words were familiar, heartbreaking and yet full of hope, but Emma, if you ever read this, know that I never stopped thinking of you. I never stopped hoping for a chance to make things right. I looked up. He was waiting, watching, like my answer mattered more than anything else in the world. I don't know what to say, I breathed. You don't have to say anything, he said. I just needed you to know. The cafe around us faded. I didn't hear the clatter of cups or the murmur of conversations. I only heard him, only saw him, and for the first time in 10 years it felt like maybe, just maybe, something could start again. I wanted to tell him to leave, to walk away, to protect my heart. But my legs refused to move. He reached out, and I felt a spark I thought had died long ago. The same spark that had made me fall for him in the first place. I shouldn't be here, he said, voice low. But I couldn't stay away any longer. I wanted to step back, to say no. But before I could decide, my phone buzzed in my bag. I pulled it out. A message from an unknown number. He's back. Don't trust him. I froze. My eyes snapped up to Daniel, who was smiling, unaware of the storm about to hit. And suddenly, everything I thought I knew about him and about us was about to change. The message burned in my hand, but I couldn't tear my eyes away from Daniel. He still smiled at me, unaware of the warning. My mind went back uncontrollably to the first time we met. It was a rainy afternoon. I had ducked into that little bookstore to escape the downpour, shaking off my umbrella. I remember the way he was hunched over a shelf, completely absorbed in a worn copy of Wuthering Heights. You always read the sad ones? I had asked, smiling. He looked up, startled, and laughed light, unguarded. Do I? Maybe. Or maybe I just like stories that don't end too easily. That had been it. A few words. A shared laugh. A spark neither of us could explain. We started meeting there, Every Saturday, trading books, stories, and small confessions. Rainy afternoons became our tradition, and slowly, my heart followed his without asking permission. I remembered the long walks afterward, sharing an umbrella too small for both of us, his jacket over my shoulders, his hand brushing mine when we reached the corner. Simple moments, but they had felt infinite. Then the summer, that one careless summer that changed everything. I had waited for him at the park, a picnic ready, my favorite book tucked under my arm. But he never came. I called, texted, waited. Days passed. Weeks dot when he finally appeared. It wasn't him. Not really. Not in the way I had hoped. His voice was hesitant, eyes avoiding mine. I thought you'd moved on, he said, as if those words were a shield. You seemed happy. I remembered the sting, the confusion, the anger. Happy? I was waiting for you, Daniel. Waiting. I know, he whispered, but I thought I'd lost my chance. We argued then, words sharp with pain and misunderstanding. He had left town soon after, and I never saw him again. Letters I wrote never sent. Messages left unread. Silence grew between us like a wall neither of us knew how to climb. And now, here he was, standing in the cafe. A decade of silence folded into the curve of his smile. I tried to push the memory aside, focusing on the present. But every detail of the past fought to surface: the warmth of his hand, the way his laugh echoed in my chest, the smell of rain-soaked streets and old books. Emma, he said, snapping me back. Are you okay? I nodded, swallowing hard. I thought I was. But seeing you, it's like all those years came back at once. He stepped closer. I never wanted to leave like that. I thought I was doing the right thing. But I see now. I was wrong. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to let go of the hurt, the abandonment. But something gnawed at the edge of my mind, the message, the unknown warning. My eyes drifted back to the envelope he had dropped. I unfolded the next letter inside, one I hadn't seen before. Emma, if you ever wonder why I disappeared, read this. I wanted to protect you, even from myself. I looked up at him, heart hammering. You left to protect me? I asked, incredulous. He nodded slowly, a shadow crossing his face. I thought if I stayed, I'd ruin everything. I wasn't ready for what I felt for you. My hands shook. All these years, we could have. I know, he said quietly, and I regret it every day. A silence stretched between us, heavy with what was lost and what might be found again. But before I could respond, my phone buzzed again. Another message, this time with an image. I gasped. It was a photograph of us. From that summer picnic. We were laughing, holding hands, completely unaware of the storm that was coming. But in the corner of the photo, a shadowy figure, someone I didn't recognize, watching us from afar. Who sent this? I whispered, panic and curiosity mixing in equal measure. Daniel leaned over to look, frowning. I don't know, but it looks like someone was always there, watching us. Maybe that's why I left. Maybe that's why we never got our chance. My mind raced. All the confusion, all the missed years, suddenly felt different. Maybe our separation wasn't just about fear or misunderstanding. Maybe there was something or someone we had never seen coming. I looked up at him. His eyes were wide, searching mine, full of the same worry I felt. And for the first time since seeing him, I wasn't just remembering the past, I was questioning it. And deep down, I knew one thing for certain. Our story wasn't over. Not yet. The cafe felt smaller now, crowded with the scent of coffee and pastries, Yet all I could see was Daniel. He sat across from me, leaning forward, hands clasped like he was holding himself together. "Did you recognize the person in the photo?" I asked, my voice low. He shook his head. "No, I don't. But whoever it is, they've been around longer than I realized." I picked at the edge of the letter he had dropped earlier. It felt heavy in my hands, heavier than words should be. So, it wasn't just us. Something else happened. Something we didn't see coming. He nodded, eyes distant. I tried to leave it behind, Emma. I thought I could run from it. From us. From everything. But now, he let the sentence hang. I could feel the tension. The years of unspoken feelings, the almost unbearable longing between us. "Now?" I asked. "Now," he said, and his gaze didn't waver. "I can't run anymore. I can't pretend I'm not still here." My heart skipped. I wanted to ask him to clarify, but the words stuck in my throat. The same ones I had, carried in my chest for 10 years. Those unsaid confessions. The half-finished sentences of love and regret. Daniel leaned closer, voice barely above a whisper. "I've thought about you every day, every single day. And I know I can't change the past, but maybe we can try to get some of it back." I blinked. The cafe's hum faded. I could hear only him. Only the weight of all the years and the possibility of what might still be. "You want to start over?" I whispered. "Yes," he said, and the word felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. "But I don't want it to be forced. I want it to be real. I want it to be ours, Emma." I swallowed, unsure if I could trust the fragility of my own hope. "I don't know if I can just forget the past." "I'm not asking you to forget," he said softly. "I'm asking you to trust me now. That's all." For a moment, we just looked at each other, the distance of 10 years collapsing in a single glance. Memories flashed: our first laugh in the bookstore, the walks under the rain, the picnic that ended in heartbreak. Then he smiled. A small, hopeful thing. "Do you remember the night we sat by the river? The one right before everything changed?" I nodded, though my chest tightened. "I remember. I still remember," he said. "I remember the way your hand fit perfectly in mine. The way you laughed at my terrible jokes. I never stopped thinking about it, about you. Something inside me shifted. Years of waiting, of longing, of unanswered questions, pressed down and then lifted in that single admission." My voice came out trembling. I never stopped either." He reached across the table, fingertips brushing mine. The contact was electric, simple and real. Then maybe we don't have to be afraid anymore. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to reach for everything I had dreamed of, everything I had imagined in quiet moments alone. And yet, the photograph, the message, the shadowed figure, it lingered in my mind. Daniel noticed my hesitation. "Emma?" I shook my head slightly, trying to force a smile. I need to know more. Before we do anything. About that photo, about why it matters." He nodded, understanding but not letting go. "I'll help you. Whatever it takes. But I need to know. Can you trust me enough to start?" I looked down at our hands, barely touching but full of meaning. Could I? Did I dare? 10 years of silence, 10 years of longing, 10 years of almost love. It all came crashing into this moment. Before I could answer, the cafe door swung open, and a familiar laugh rang out across the room. My heart stopped. I turned, and my breath caught. The shadow from the photograph wasn't a shadow anymore. She was real, standing there, smiling, looking right at Daniel and at me. Daniel stiffened beside me. "Emma," the moment froze. Time stopped. Everything we thought we knew about the past and what we were about to do shifted in an instant. And I realized that nothing our reunion, our confessions, our chance at love would ever be simple again. The woman in the doorway stepped closer. Light caught her hair, golden in the afternoon sun, and my stomach twisted. "Daniel," she said softly. Her voice wasn't accusatory. It was familiar. He swallowed, looking uneasy. "Clara." I stared at her. The shadow from the photograph. She had been watching them, watching us all those years. My mind spun. Why? Clara took a deep breath. "I didn't mean to interfere. I just thought I was protecting you both." "Protecting us?" I asked, my voice trembling. "From what?" She looked at me, then at Daniel. "From a mistake. From the wrong choices. I saw how much you cared for each other. And I didn't know what to do. I thought I could keep things from breaking. But I made it worse. I'm sorry." Daniel ran a hand through his hair. "Clara, I should have told her. I should have said something years ago. But I didn't. I let it go, thinking I was doing the right thing. And Emma, you deserve better than silence." I felt my chest tighten. Silence. 10 years of it. All the unanswered questions. All the nights I had cried without knowing why he had left. "Why didn't you tell me, Daniel?" I asked. My voice was soft, raw. "I was scared," he admitted, finally letting the truth spill out. Scared I'd ruin everything. Scared that if I stayed, if I said the wrong thing, I'd lose you forever. So I left. I thought distance would protect both of us. I blinked, trying to process it. Distance, not betrayal. Not hate, just fear. "But you left me with nothing," I whispered. "Nothing but questions, memories, and silence." He reached for my hand, hesitated, then let it hover over mine. "I know. And I can't take back the years. But I can be here now. I want to be here now, if you'll let me." I looked down at our almost touching hands. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to let go of the anger, the grief, the hurt. I wanted the years to feel like a story we could still rewrite. Clara watched quietly. "Emma, you should know the truth. The night Daniel left, I saw someone. Someone trying to interfere with your life. Someone who didn't want you together. I thought I could step in, keep it from getting worse. But my silence, my hiding, it only made the misunderstanding grow. That's why he left. That's why the letters never reached you." My breath caught. "So, all of this, it wasn't me. It wasn't that you didn't care." "No," Daniel said firmly. "It was never that. I've always cared, Emma. Even when I was gone, even when I was afraid, my heart never left you." Tears burned my eyes, the relief and pain twisting together. 10 years of longing, of imagining what could have been, suddenly made sense. And yet, clarity didn't feel simple. Clara stepped back. "I should go," she said. "I only wanted the truth to reach you, and now it has." Daniel's gaze didn't leave mine. "Emma, I don't want to lose you again. Not to fear, not to silence, not to anything. Will you take a chance with me? Here, now, with everything clear?" My heart pounded. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to throw myself into that moment, to close the gap of years in one leap. But something stopped me. Something I hadn't seen before. Something that made the air between us heavy with doubt and possibility. I pulled the letter from the envelope again, the one he had dropped that morning. I unfolded it fully this time, scanning the words I had read too quickly before. And then I saw another note, hidden at the bottom, almost like it had been. Placed there deliberately. "Emma, There's one more truth you must know. I'm not who you think I am. You must be careful, and you must decide for yourself before it's too late. I looked up at Daniel. His eyes searched mine, open and honest, but the words on the page burned in my chest. I started, but no sound came. Daniel reached for me again, gently. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. I promise. I shook my head slowly, heart pounding. I need to know what this means. Before we do anything. Before I trust again. He nodded, though a shadow of worry crossed his face. I'll wait. I'll wait as long as it takes. And there it was. The choice. Stay, risk everything. Trust him despite the unknown. Or step back, protect my heart, and let the moment slip. The letter trembled in my hands. The past was finally explained. The present was right here. But the future? It was still a question one I didn't know if I was ready to answer. I held the letter in my hands, the words etched deep into my chest. Every fear, every doubt, every year of silence suddenly felt lighter. Daniel watched me, quiet, patient, as if he already knew what I would do. I understand now, I whispered, voice shaking. Everything. Why you left. Why you stayed away. Why it all felt impossible. He nodded, eyes soft and open. I only ever wanted to protect you. To keep you safe. I was wrong to leave, but I never stopped caring. Tears spilled down my cheeks, hot and sudden. I never stopped either, I admitted. Even when I didn't understand. Even when I thought, maybe you didn't care. I never stopped. He reached for my hand. Gentle, sure. Then maybe it's time we stop running from the past. Time we let ourselves try again. I looked at him. The weight of 10 years behind us, and the quiet hope of what could be ahead. I want to try, I said. But this time, honestly, completely, no secrets. Daniel smiled, relief flooding his face. No secrets. We stepped outside together, the late afternoon sun warm on our faces. The city felt brighter, every sound sharper, every color vivid. It was as if the world itself had been holding its breath for this moment. I have something for you, Daniel said suddenly. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small envelope, crisp and new. My name was written in his familiar handwriting. Curious, I opened it. Inside was a single card, simple and elegant. On it was written, "For every day I thought I lost, I am grateful for the moment I found you again." A smile broke across my face. Daniel, this is beautiful. He shrugged, grinning, but his eyes were soft, full of emotion. It's the truth. And it's not just words this time. I mean it. Every single one. I laughed softly through my tears, the sound light and free. You always had a way with words. And you always had a way with me, he said, reaching for my hand again. This time to hold it firmly. We walked together, side by side, feeling the ease of connection that had survived a decade. No misunderstandings. No distance. Just the quiet certainty that some things were meant to last, even if the timing was wrong. As we passed a small park, the wind caught a few leaves and sent them tumbling across our path. Daniel stopped, picking up a single leaf and tucking it into the envelope he still held. Proof that life goes on, he said. And love finds its way back. I nodded, the gesture simple, poetic, perfect. It was a reminder that even through mistakes, absence and silence, the heart remembered what truly mattered. We reached the river where we had shared so many memories. The water shimmered under the evening sun, reflecting gold and pink across the surface. Daniel turned to me, eyes earnest. Emma, no matter what comes next, I want to face it with you. Every laugh, every worry, every quiet moment. Together. I held his gaze, feeling the years of longing, loss, and hope fold into one. Yes, I said, my voice steady. Together. He smiled, and we walked to the riverbank, hands intertwined. For the first time in a decade, I felt truly whole. The past had been explained. The present was ours. The future was waiting, bright and unafraid. Before we left, I opened the envelope one last time. Hidden behind the card was a small folded note I hadn't seen before. Even when we are apart, love never forgets. It waits. It finds a way. I looked at Daniel, and the words felt like a promise, like a final bridge across the years that had kept us apart. He squeezed my hand gently. We found each other again. That's what matters. I smiled, feeling the warmth of the moment sink deep into my heart. Yes, that's what matters. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in soft pinks and golds, I knew without a doubt that love, patient and true, had finally brought us home.